You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
It's just like, hell yeah. Let's talk about Sailor fucking Moon. Goku.
That was last time. This time we are not. Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of the Couch Potatoes.
You're welcome, everyone. You're welcome.
You're right, because with me at the helm, an anime episode would have never happened.
Yeah. Ed, Ed, and Eddie is not an anime. King of the Hill is.
Yes. I'll talk about that anime all day long.
The Texas anime. Anime. We actually talked about that on that episode of, like, there's a big fucking argument in Japan. Which one's better, the Japanese dub or the
English sub?
The Japanese sub.
Yeah.
Which one's the best? And it's just like, that is fucking hilarious. I know there's an Americon over there, and I just want to go over there and just be like hoard out and just like, take photo with large white man. Just be that guy, because I found out that's a job you could do.
Really?
In Japan, be a diversity hire, and all you do is just stand in the background and like type on a keyboard or some shit for like political performance photos.
Interesting.
Like when the company does like a tour inside, they'll have like Americans and Canadians that happen to be working in the background who aren't doing shit, but just been like, look, we have other people. And it's just like, it's slightly racist, but I'm just like, if you're giving me fucking money, it's not.
It makes it a little better.
It makes it so much better. Because they're so small people.
Well, how you been, man? Last time we had our guest Christy on, and that was always lovely. But now it's like
no one got hurt.
No. Even though there was a lot of threats, there was no Crocs or sandals thrust upon my forehead.
I will say I will apologize to our Triple C fans if I got a little too goddamn serious talking about the government killing civil rights leaders. My bad. Okay? That's on me. That's on me. Don't worry, we're going to get fun and goofy as all the time in the next Triple C episode, hopefully, with some cryptids, some fake creatures like the unicorns or Cap. Like, just not real, you know?
This is what happens when Chris gets a little criticism on his show. All of a sudden, he's just like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry things got too fucking real on the show about goddamn conspiracies. My bad. If you guys want to know what he's talking about, check out the recent assassinations conspiracy episode on the Cryptic Conspiracy Cult feed.
Did Lee Harvey Oswald kill Kennedy, or did his head just fucking do that? We will never know.
We will never know.
Yeah.
Well, there's one person that knows. Yeah. There's a couple people that probably know.
JFK knew for about 2 seconds.
His mind was blown.
Yep. And all his second grade memories are on the dash.
There goes kindergarten.
Yeah.
But no, we're recording in the middle of the day. We've had a good little pre-show. If you want to see that, click the link in this episode description. And
happy Easter, you sons of bitches.
Yes, you got a fun Easter episode here, I guess. Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah, because you're not a Christian. Godless.
Apparently not a good enough one.
No, me neither, though. I can't say shit. I just drank a soda alcohol drink on Good Friday.
No, today's Thursday.
Oh, we're good. Safe. Fucking safe, bro.
I see the umpire to safe.
Jesus is my homeboy.
But no, I've been trying to get out a little bit more content here for the last week or so. I am no longer at a day job once again.
Good riddance.
Basically, yeah. You know,
selling the electric tobacco.
If the boss man turns to you and goes, well, why don't you be a man and do something for once instead of someone having to tell you, when... You know, I rarely toot my own horn, Chris. I mean, how often do I sit here and go, I'm the shit? Very rarely. I'm
especially around me.
Yes, I'm self-deprecating quite often.
Because I'll knock you down a peg. I don't give a shit.
However, one thing I am very confident on is the fact that I kick ass at work.
Yeah.
You know, I was offered a promotion to a manager position in the first couple months of me being there.
Yeah.
I said no because I saw the way the management was treated.
So no, do not turn to me and say, why don't you do something for once and be a man without someone having to tell you, because you're going to get a response from me that is, okay, cool. I'm locking the front doors. I'm clocking out, leaving the keys on your desk, and good fucking riddance, which is exactly what happened.
I didn't talk about it before the show, but I wanted to bring it up here. I had a very similar situation last night while I was at work. Around 11 o'clock at night, they called us in for a conference meeting, me and the team at my department, or my old apartment, because I've changed. Again. And they're like, hey, there's some paperwork issues. We're writing you all you guys up. We're writing you all up. I'm like, okay, yeah, just tell me what's going on, why you're doing it. I told everyone in the room, all 5 of us, don't fucking sign these papers. I'll sign it because it was me. I was the reason there was a fuck up because I didn't catch one of you fucking up. That was my job, to catch fuck ups.
You're a manager.
Yeah. I told the supervisor, I'm like, I will talk to my supervisor when he comes back next week, when I'm switching departments, and I will tell him all the issues that I've told him before, and we will resolve this. There's no reason to write everyone up. The guy who did it wasn't there today, or last night, and so I'm like, he's responsible. He knew what he did. He went too fast and fucked up. That's all. We caught the problem in time, but it was my responsibility. If you want to write me up, I've signed my write-up slip. I signed it. I told everybody not to. And I'm going to tell them to keep not to, because it's not their fucking problem.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility. But I will say this. Go fuck yourself. This is an issue about training. This is about standing operating procedure, also known as SOP. I'm like, I told the guy, the standing manager we had, I'm just like, there is no SOP in our department. In retail, you have an SOP.
Yes.
ID the customer, prove the credit card belongs to them.
Yep.
Make sure everybody's on the up and up, and then you give them the tobacco product, and they give you fucking money.
You got it.
We don't have that. Every shift does it differently, and you know from experience that it is nerve-wracking when everyone does something one little thing off.
And exactly with the example you were giving so many times. All right, and it's all right. Anything else for you today? Nope, that's going to be it. All right, toll's going to be $42.89. Thank you for the card. Can I see ID real quick? Match it up with the card. What? I just needed a CID so I can just match it up with your card. I've never been ID'd here before.
White devil. Well, but I will say this, like, the only comparison between the only like non-comparison is the material we make goes into every mid-size vehicle. Every fucking one of them. Ford, a Chrysler Jeep Dodge, Chevrolet, GMC, Fiat, fucking BMW, Audi. If they make a mid-sized vehicle, we make the part that goes into that vehicle. So there is an intensive safety concern, and this is why we have those checks, and why, we have to get involved. And so
otherwise, you'll have another Boeing situation on your hands.
Well, ours, more or less, the product, if it fails, the car will lock up and stop and flip.
Yeah, so another Boeing situation.
No doors are coming off or anything.
Well, I mean, that's the equivalent.
Yeah, just a car flipping. And mid-sized vehicles flip like a motherfucker, too. But yeah, Boeing. What the fuck? God damn it, guys.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm very happy to be out of there. I'm trying to do my freelance thing once again, but like, I don't know. There's certain things that I'm sure you've been in retail and sales positions. There's certain things you have to kind of suck up and deal with and lie about. However, at the location I was at, we were selling a lot of CBD products.
Yeah.
Now, for folks that are unaware, CBD really has no psychoactive effects. It doesn't make you high, it doesn't make you loopy, anything like that. But there has been proven tests with like children and old people that it helps with seizures, arthritis, a multitude of different things.
A litany of medical conditions.
Exactly. So, of all the things, I kind of equate CBD to like aspirin or any sort of like, pain med, or even something like Pepto-Bismol.
Like an over-the-counter, just quick grab.
You need it to be within expiration. Homie, we're selling products that were like expired in 2021.
Yeah.
And it's like the owner is expecting you to push these products, and it's like, no, I have integrity. I'm not pushing expired product on a grandma that's like, my joints hurt at night and CBD helps me sleep. Is there anything for me here?
Have you tried fentanyl?
Yeah, I'm not gonna point her toward these gummies that are hard as a rock and expired in 2021 because they're not going to be as potent. They're not going to work for her like that.
That's the only thing I kind of think is odd about that particular industry is the edible part of it, because you're now dealing with, like, you can skirt the FDA on certain parts of edible material because caterers do it all the time, but the effectiveness of it, is it still there? And is the quality of the edible, not so much the marijuana part, but the food part of it, is it still quality driven? That's the only problem I had, like, back in the day when you go get like a weed brownie, it just tastes like garbage. But like the Delta 9 chocolate, that is not a flavorful item to eat. Doesn't taste good.
Depends on the one, honestly. I do have a brand that's like really tasty.
But me and you went to the store and I got one. And it's like the flavor isn't good.
Yeah, that one was not.
That's the problem I have with like those kind of that range of products. You really need to prove to me that it is a flavorful material, because it is an edible. It has to be edible to eat.
No, there's not just our store. Many different stores sell them, and they all come from the same place. There's some chocolate peanut butter cups that are pretty potent, and you can't tell the difference.
I remember you had the little chocolates, the little $5 chocolate ones.
That's the one I was talking about. Yeah, that's like a chocolate peanut.
That was a quality product.
Yeah, that tasted good.
But compared to like the Delta 9 chocolate I had,
yeah, that one not so much.
That tasted very bad. It tasted like that 99% cacao almost.
Yeah, and so one kind of I can kind of help with a little bit of that. So with the question of potency, I would equate that to a children's chewable vitamin.
Yeah.
So it's like you're still getting the same amount of potency. It's just in a different delivery method. Instead of it being chalky, it's within a gummy factor. When it comes to the quality of that and like FDA, standards, even though the final product itself is not sanctioned by the FDA, as in these claims are not approved by them.
Not on the up and up.
The actual product you're consuming still has to be tested and approved before it goes out into the market for even just impurities. So even something like, Hershey's chocolate, what is there, like a 5%, bug ratio that's allowed or some shit?
Yeah, so you have what's called allowable contaminants in food.
Exactly. So that 100% falls right into what you do with all that. One of the older companies I worked for, we would actually make our e-liquids per order. And we had people come through about maybe once a month and would survey the area, and it would be random. We never knew when they were coming through.
Yeah.
So, they would come in, survey, make sure everything was in the cleanliness on the up and up, make sure everyone was still wearing proper safety gear. So
much like a health inspector.
Exactly. So any major company that's producing product enough to be sold in stores has to pass some sort of regulatory practice in order to be able to sell. So I can at least give a little bit of confidence and assurance on you're not eating bad product. What product is in it to affect you may not be on the up and up, but the actual food product itself is going to be fine.
The brownie's good, but the weed in is bad.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo. You got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm feeling a little bit better overall. My mental health has improved over the last couple weeks. I kind of had to take that mental week breather, and this week's been a lot better. Got my hair cut, been making some video content, put myself out there some. So 2024, baby, let's go.
Tried you that fancy ramen?
The fancy ramen tasted good. I liked that. That was before my haircut, and that's what made me realize I really needed a fucking haircut because I looked bad.
Touch it up, hippie boy.
I was fine that video did not perform well on YouTube. It's been our lowest performing video yet, but that's fine. I just wanted to get something out last week.
We're dipping a toe.
Trying something. Eventually you'll see a music review of me come out, and it's I trash someone I should love very much, but
or some more content on top of that. Brainstorming, thinking, think tank.
That's right. I keep telling the guys in the group chat, I'm like, look, I will be getting another job soon. take advantage of my joblessness. Let's do some shit.
Yeah, this the DMs is take advantage of me, please.
Yes, literally.
Full no safe word. This is like just disgusting talk in this chat. I don't think I could screenshot and become senator. Some of the stuff I've said in there, Jesus. It just,
I was gonna say, regardless of what I've said or what Dante or Mikey said,
mine is just a lot of bullying and preaching. I went full sermon mode this morning.
Oh, you were. We were asking, what was allowed and not allowed in the church and everything else. Surprisingly, you allowed the devil's lettuce. I'm still not understanding of that. God, I thought I was like pitching you a ball to really give you another rant.
No. God gave us marijuana to sell to make money for the bounty of the church.
So you allow the wooks.
Yeah.
Why? They seem like they would be sullying your image, with the whole idea of, being of pure and sound mind and body. If you're high on the marijuana poisoning.
If you're pure sound mind and body and not making fucking cash, then you got a fucking problem.
Yeah, but if
this is a very capitalist religion, my friend.
But if you're high on the marijuana poisoning,
I didn't say overdo it. All right, that's the problem with some of you motherfuckers that smoke weed. Y'all overdo it. In moderation, my friend. If
5 joints a day is not moderation?
No, that is overindulgent. You're going full juices loose on that shit, man.
But I need that to center me.
That's fucking terrible. That's goddamn sad.
Imagine if someone actually looked at you and earnestly said that.
I need weed to center myself.
I need 5 joints a day to center myself.
You sound like a fucking alcoholic when you talk like that.
But weed's not addictive, Chris.
Probably. You're not sucking dick for it, but you're ruining your fucking life.
if you're to the Kevin Smith point. And see, honestly, that's what kind of woke him up.
Speaking of someone like that, Seth Rogen recently got on an interview and said he's not having children because he's an avid weed user and he doesn't want to have the responsibility. He's actually showing responsibility by saying, hey, look, I do drugs and I do a recreational drug that's legal in my town. I should not have children. He's acknowledging the fact, as opposed to some people who do other legal drugs and are just like, I don't give a fuck. I'll have a kid. I don't give a shit. So like he shows the responsible aspect of that culture that needs to be talked about more.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And the weed culture is a fucking amalgamation of idiots, but there's also some very smart people in there who really try to keep the tent up, while other motherfuckers are trying to burn it down.
See, and that's part of the reason why I'm so happy to have been out of that place. Is like, I am going to be the last person to fucking be judgy over someone's lifestyle.
Yeah.
However, I have never once liked weed culture.
Yeah.
I've never liked the look, the style, the music, any of it. It's like, it's so unfortunate that something I enjoy is connected to such a cringy, goofy fucking subculture. I fucking hate it.
Well, it's like Coke culture. I fucking hate Coke culture, but I fucking love me a bump.
God damn it.
It's fucking disgusting out there. Just all these yuppies out here just doing fat lines, and I'm just over here. Dude, guys, it's for a traffic stop, not for a fucking party, okay? It's fine. It helps you get through that red light a little faster. You know what I'm saying? Moderation, folks. That's what I try to preach on the fucking podcast and on the fucking personal message.
You're going to need to come up with an official name for the church, and I'll make you a t-shirt.
Yeah. Church of the Living Chris. I can call them Christians.
Oh boy, this is going to be dangerous.
Do like a world tour. It's just like Jonestown, 1975, fucking Heaven's Gate, 1994, Waco, 1994, and it's just like Chris Morrison, question marks.
God damn it.
Woo, motherfucker.
The Mountain Dew's kicking in now.
Yeah, it's just sponsored. I just train everyone on the important aspects of Betty Crocker cooking. Everyone be cool.
I said, be cool.
Jams and jellies, folks, and cakes.
Well, before we dig ourselves into a deeper hole, let's go ahead and move on over to our news segment. Eventually, I'm going to make some new music for that part. That was always meant to be just like a placeholder. And
I will say,
it just kind of stayed.
I will say, if anybody's listening, this fucking guy had a brand new opener that sounded fantastic.
Yeah, I was curious if that's like their new opener, if they're just like doing. See, Mikey and I used to listen to the show a lot called Tell 'em Steve Dave.
Yeah.
And they every so often would just, out of the blue, put in a different intro song. Whereas like one out of every 20 episodes, it's like, oh fuck, they changed it on us just for the hell of it. So I didn't know if they were pulling one of those or not, or if that's the new constant.
Yeah, but it sounded fucking wonderful, guys. Check out their latest episode before this one. It's fantastic. They criticize us and they just assume that I know things about Lord of the Rings.
Well, I mean, with how much you're into D&D and everything, it's not too much of a stretch, homie.
Yeah.
It's really not.
It's all about the culture. If you like D&D, you like Led Zeppelin. If you like Led Zeppelin, you like the fucking Hobbit. If you like the Hobbit, you like massacres on television.
Well, I mean, so far that does sound like everything you do like.
Yeah,
you do like Led Zeppelin.
The algorithm really nailed me down. But I'm always getting right-wing shit on YouTube. What the fuck?
Well, I wonder why.
It's just like all I do is watch DIY videos about how guys build cabins and shit.
And what do you think they watch all the time?
I don't give a shit.
It's manly shit.
Yeah, but it's just like I'm watching a guy build a cabin from scratch, or I'm watching this guy rail, and I mean rail, like Turkey Tom or Joy Aubrey just talk dog shit about YouTubers.
Oh, okay. That was not where I thought it was going.
That's a private matter. But no, like it's just like I've been watching these like little documentaries about YouTubers, and I'm just like, oh, your community is sick.
Oh yeah,
It's
insane.
Yeah, I just finished the Just Pearly girl, the pick me girl with the red hair.
Oh,
who thinks women shouldn't vote? What a dumbass.
Yeah.
Like I would see her like on TikToks and Instagrams, and I'm just like, oh, I thought she was I thought she was like a cartoon.
And to think I'm trying to jump into that pool.
Yeah. Good luck. I'm just thinking about like doing video game stuff and having a drink or two.
You would still be in the fucking water.
Just halfway through Donut Island, I'm just like, let me tell you about the beep and why they shouldn't be allowed to have money.
Moving on to some news pieces. Not that many news pieces, but a whole lot of announcements and trailers. So let's go ahead and start at the top of the list that I've got here. Star Wars The Acolyte trailer dropped.
Looks fun.
I'm glad you think so.
It looks fun. Like I'm not invested so much in the Star Wars stories anymore, but it looks like there's going to be a lot of Easter egg stuff in there. It's going to be an independent story. The action looks phenomenal. It looks like they've really invested into the choreography of that. This looks like it's going to be like a very action-driven, but an espionage one a little bit, because they are looking for someone who may or may not be 86 and Jedis. So like, and then I think that'll kind of bring it home for May when episode 1 drops.
Yep.
As a re-release. I think this is a good little mise en place for the people that are just big Star Wars fans, and it probably gives somebody Disney to like focus on a little bit, just as they wait for Marvel to do their thing.
So I wonder with this, because you kind of touched on that, they are setting this before the prequels.
Yeah.
So this is the first time we're going even further back than episode 1.
Yeah, and that's good.
Do you think they're going to fuck with the Darth Plagueis story?
No, I think it'll be mentioned in passing. What I'm thinking.
Do you think we're gonna have Palpatine?
No, I think they'll go further back than that. Probably further than Plagueis. From what it looks like, this looks like more of like a tribal Jedi situation. We do see a lot of like. Maybe, and this is a big speculation. I'm not trying to be like new rock stars and like fucking watch it like the fucking Zapruder film.
Hey, this is some good network. We're here to talk about the breakdown of the new trailer. The trailer's only 30 seconds long, but this is a 25-minute video.
Yeah, but I'm not looking at like the fucking JFK assassination, like back to the left. If you look, there's a child there who will be murdered. Like, I'm not doing that. But just like, it looks like it sets a little bit further back. One of the actors in it, was in a show called Chuck or something, but he's in it. He's a fantastic actor. He's a Marvel actor. He's also a DC actor, but I'm glad to see him in it. And I think that'll kind of leaven it up a little bit. And plus, there's a lot of like no-name actors I'm seeing in it that look fantastic, which is something some of these shows really need to stick to. Don't put big-name actors in there unless you're going to make them either die as a big magnanimous event, or that they are pivotal in the next wave. Okay, that's kind of what sucks about Ray Stevenson dying in the Ahsoka series.
I know, because he was so good.
He was, and he's a fantastic actor. But you got to plan for stuff like that. But no, it looks neat. It looks fun. It's going to probably add to the lore a little bit, which is fine with me.
Yeah, and that's the reason I kind of wonder if they're going to touch on any of the Darth Plagueis or Palpatine stuff, because something you kind of brought up I didn't really think about, which is, you're right, this does line up around that time that they're going to be putting the prequels back in theaters again. Just like how the Mandalorian episode lined up with the Rise of Skywalker, showing off the healing powers that was showed off in both series, I can't help but wonder if they're gonna nod to Palpatine or do something like that to connect all of those dots, or if we're gonna have a Yoda or someone like that that is actually really old, that transits time and space. I mean, I don't know this, so I'm genuinely asking you, was Darth Plagueis one of those centuries old beings, or what? It seemed like he wasn't like a typical mortal person.
So there are two lores, the George Lucas lore and the Disney lore. Darth Plagueis was very old, but he tried to use his knowledge of the Force to stay alive.
But how old is old?
We don't know. That's the problem, because we roughly know how Yoda is. Yoda was there when the Sith fell, so that's how old Yoda is. But we don't know how old Yoda was when it happened.
Yeah,
you know, it's mentioned in passing a lot of times, and
that their aging is.
I know there's someone
slow.
listening to this who's just like, well, I read the comic in 1985 that says Yoda was there when this guy died. I'm just like, that's fine. That's cool. That's one lore. We're dealing with Disney, who doesn't give a shit.
Yep.
So
we gotta look at this from a different angle.
I think this could be a very good independent story to add to the base of storytelling. Okay, it's okay to have a prequel. You know, I would hope it does as well. It does like a Rogue One. This is a story of some Jedi we heard in passing, like Yoda was a child, or Yoda as just becoming a Jedi Master. This is what he saw. They had to deal with a rare person going out and attacking the Jedi, which could be a big event for them, as this probably didn't happen until the Sith died. Could it turn into the Knights of the Old Republic, of them telling the story of how they rose above and beat the Sith Lord?
Well, I mean, using your Rogue One example, even within Rogue One, though, even though we were dealing with a ragtag team of nobodies that we've never met before, there were two people, though, that were a very strong vein throughout that whole movie that were returning members.
Yeah.
Grand Moff Tarkin and Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Those were two returning characters that were a vein throughout the whole thing. And then we get even the extra cameo of Leia, Carrie Fisher at the end.
But
so that's are they going to do it that much?
I don't know, because, you know, our characters, we talked about it when we talked about New Hope, Empire, and recently Return of the Jedi, of how our ragtag group of people are very finite. You know, I could see this just being like, hey, here's a nod to Yoda.
Yeah.
Becoming a master. Maybe we see an OG Jedi Council before he was on the council. That's all you could put in there, and it'd still be worth the watch.
That's true.
This is an independent story that's I think is gonna be like Rogue One. It's gonna be an espionage probably thing. It's gonna be a thriller. I think this is gonna be kind of like that weird scene in Obi-Wan where he fights Darth Vader and loses the first time and gets away reluctantly. You know, that was the highlight of that series. So I think this is what that'll be. It'll be a separate storytelling of characters we don't really know. Maybe we Easter egg one at the very end or the very beginning, or do both. Who gives a shit? And it's like, hey, this is what's happening in the background, just like Rogue One. These guys were doing some nitty gritty shit while the other guys are just booting and rallying.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the Acolyte will be. I'm excited for it, for the fact that it'll just add to the story. I'll wait till it finishes before I watch it, so I can sit it down in one sitting. Because right now I'm just invested in Shogun right now. It's just like, fantastic.
Fucking weeb.
I am the fucking Shogun.
And even though I'm a little bit more blasé on this one, I'll probably watch it. I didn't watch what was that other one that came out that was live action that like no one watched?
Oh,
Andor.
Andor, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I still.
Andor is sad as shit.
Yeah, I still didn't watch it, but I'll probably watch Acolyte.
It has the greatest actor of all time in it, Andy Serkis.
However, something I am quite looking forward to, especially after watching the trailer, Max is going to be having the Penguin series, I believe, come out sometime this year.
Yeah, looks fantastic.
That looks really intense and really fun.
I think this goes back to like how you tell stories. We talked about this a long time ago during like Marvel Phase 2. Was all right, we got the rise above Iron Man, and then the sequel to Iron Man where he has to deal with the consequences of just being Tony Stark. But then they made The Winter Soldier, which is the coolest fucking espionage movie.
That's still in my top three favorites.
That's a fantastic. It's a top favorite for a lot of people. But you changed it from an action film to an espionage movie. This is what it needed to be, and I think that's kind of the path they're going down. Hey, what made the Doctor Strange movie so fun? It was a horror movie. That was fun for a lot of people. Werewolf by Night, a separate story that is a horror story. You release it around Halloween, which added to the oomph. It's black and white. Then you could do color. That's another one. We don't really talk about it that much because it's just a shot in the dark. That was such a fun movie.
It was. I kept forgetting about it, but it is genuinely really fun.
That is not a superhero movie. It's a horror movie with superheroes in it, and that's what they need to focus on. Is like, let's genre up a little bit. Let's change the game and go back to that root of, hey, Rogue One was cool because it's an espionage movie. Fucking Winter Soldier is cool because it's a spy movie happening in the world of superheroes. This is what other shit happens. This is what Secret Wars could be. This is what later on movies could be. Maybe we could have Thor Ragnarok was so fun because it's a comedy.
Yeah.
But there are serious moments in it, but it's still a superhero flick. It's a comedy. Deadpool works so well because it's a meta commentary on its own bullshit.
Well, they're trying to even pull back the Spider-Man series because they've got that fight going on between Feige and Sony, because Sony wants another big multiverse movie, and Feige's like, I want him street level hanging out with Daredevil and Kingpin.
Yeah. And, we got that show Echo, which is, a contained story about this one character who
Still need to watch that.
Yeah, but it is compelling because she has a disability, and this goes back to another problem that a lot of people have a problem with, which I don't understand, which is inclusivity. It's okay to have a character who's deaf.
Yeah.
Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, whatever.
It's okay. There's
Just
literally
write it well, and we'll enjoy it.
And I recently watched a little bit of the new X-Men movie, or X-Men
97 series.
Morph was the big contentious thing. It's not a big deal, guys. He turns into whatever the fuck you want him to be.
Yeah.
That's Morph. In the old show, he was just a white dude who could do that.
Yeah.
Now this is what he really looks like.
Just the chameleon from like Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, he just turns into whatever. And he's still the same hilarious guy. He still has some issues, just like in the original series, because he had PTSD.
Well, a lot of the people that complain about this weren't actual, X-Men fans to begin with. They didn't understand the nuance of shit, or they were too young and it just flew over their heads.
And then you get the people like, what I've heard a lot of the criticism of, because I haven't watched it all, but a lot of criticism, it's too woke. And I'm just like, you're not understanding what was written to begin with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're just like, it's a civil rights story, you stupid fuck.
Yeah, it's like either, they weren't a fan, or they were too young and those little subtexts just flew over their head. And now they're watching the series as an adult, forgetting that, exactly what you said. Or hell, I went and rewatched one of the episodes of the 80s Spider-Man. So there was a couple different series running congruently. The Spider-Man is an Amazing Friends, and then the regular Spider-Man series that had this very similar art. During that series, there was an episode with Dr. Doom, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I remember going back and rewatching the episode recently and being like, wow, this is actually really boring. All the episode was Dr. Doom taking over the UN.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
And it was an entire political allegory of bad people getting in power and corrupting others. That flew over my head as a kid.
Yeah.
But Dr. Doom being an allegory for bad leaders. Okay, that works. But as a kid, you're not thinking about that.
I think the cool thing what the new X-Men series is setting up is a contingent if Disney gets a hold of Spider-Man wholeheartedly. And we could get a separate timeline instead of Peter Parker becoming the Spider-Man of the future when they did that Spider-Man Unlimited.
Yeah.
Instead of that, what if he just stayed on Earth?
Well, what if we finally get that next season of goddamn Spider-Man 97 or whatever the fuck it is?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If that's, I think they put this out as kind of like, hey guys, this is what we can do. Mm-hmm. This is how much fun we had making it.
But we're getting friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, which is fine. I don't give a shit. But I will say this: they have animated the shit out of this X-Men show. It is fucking awesome. Some of the stuff they pulled off is something they couldn't pull it off back in the day, unless they were using the original Japanese artists. Fuck, man. There's a scene. A lot of people have probably seen it on Reels or Instagram or TikTok, where the Blackbird, the plane they're in, gets shot down.
Yes, I've seen that.
All right, so everyone's free falling. Storm and Rogue jump to it, start grabbing people. Cyclops, the most boring guy in the whole series, is now in charge. Okay, and so he's free falling, and he's like, "Oh, I got myself. It's okay, guys." And he just goes full blast into the ground, and uses that to land himself. I'm just like, that's what you needed from him the whole time. Make him cool again. Because Cyclops is a boring guy. But he has to be because he's the leader. You got to have a boring leader. And, man, it is just some cool shit they're pulling off in that series.
Could someone that didn't watch the original series enjoy this series?
Yes.
Like, would they be lost?
Not really.
Because I've watched maybe 3 episodes of the original series, but I would kind of like to watch the new one.
Yeah, so watch the new one first. There are some 90s references you would get because it's still set in the 90s. And that's a big...
Crop tops!
Yeah. It's just like, oh, why would he wear that? That's super gay. Watch 90s sitcoms. Watch Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Watch Family Matters.
Straightening in crop tops was a thing. Calm down.
It's working out like a motherfucker, too. But...
He would fuck your bitch, don't you worry.
Just like all those 80s, all those guys that dress like women.
Yeah. Look at Lemmy and the fucking Daisy Dukes. Don't you dare think he won't steal your girlfriend and make her forget your name.
It's funny because it is like shot out of time, but it's made now. There are a lot of like upgraded like costume stuff they do on the show. But yeah, like I recommend anybody checking out just a little bit of it, just like I have, just little random episodes or just random clips and stuff. Because I'm going to go back and watch the whole thing, but right now I'm focusing on Shogun.
Yeah.
Shogun on FX is fantastic.
And as we were mentioning, the Penguin trailer looks really cool, just like mafia movie, but just set in Gotham.
And that's what DC needs to do. This is DC is kicking the ass. I mean, like, hey guys, let's make a cool crime thriller about Cobblepot, who isn't a fucking just mental midget, deformed penguin man.
And it was telling him, before we started the episode, I was like, it's kind of come full circle. There for a while, I was in the DC movies, enjoying the Nolan Batman movies. Rewatched all 3 of those recently. They still hold up.
Those are fun.
It's so many people.
Well, it's an ebb and flow. It's an ebb and flow. So before you had Iron Man, Batman Begins came out first. So Batman Begins was cool because who's the villain in the Batman Begins?
Ra's al Ghul.
No one ever put him in a movie because he's so fucking complicated.
And Scarecrow, kinda, but it's Ra's al Ghul.
But that is a complicated character to talk about. And you had Liam Neeson play him.
Yes.
What a fucking acting role.
And then you had Cillian.
Yes, Cillian Murphy does a fantastic job. And then it kind of overdoes itself with Heath Ledger as the Joker, but you also have all these other mafia guys, Falcone, the Asian mobster, and all the other guys who are just trying to survive. And it's just like, we can't because the Batman's out here just beating the dog shit out of us. Which I feel bad for, like a single mom who has to steal some bread. It's just like, this is Gotham. I am the knight. And this is like, but that was a good ending too, with Bane and the callback to Ra's al Ghul. Those 3 movies are a set and done trilogy, done fine. And DC knocked it out of the fucking park.
And honestly, an ending that's like, I know the way the movie ends, yet even when I was watching it recently, it still got me choked up because the guy that played Alfred, what's his name? Michael Caine does such a heartfelt job in all 3 of those movies that, like, even now when I watch the movie and he's looking at the Bruce Wayne, gravestone, and he's like, I failed you, I failed everyone, I still watch it. I'm just like, God damn, that hurts.
I will say,
Bruce is alive. I know the way this ends, yet I still watch that scene going, God damn, this hurts.
I will say, Alfred in the comics is just Alfred. A lot of the times they have amped him up a little bit. They made the show Pennyworth, which is a great show to watch. It's a DC show just about Alfred.
Made him like a spy or what have you.
He was a thug who met Thomas Wayne and his wife before they were together, and they were spies. And that's how he met them and kind of formed this group of just like, hey, look, I'll be your protector because obviously you guys can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
But it was a fantastic show. It's dark and gritty. And then they did it with the Gotham series.
Yeah.
Hey, this Alfred is like protecting the boy, but he's also telling him, hey, the world's tough. Michael Caine Alfred, though, needed his own goddamn movie, because one sentence dialogue from each movie is like, were you part of like MI6? Did you kill James Bond? Because like in the Heath Ledger one, he just casually goes, we were hunting jewel thieves in Burma. I'm just like, you were fucking doing what?
Yeah.
What? What kind of weird fucking James Bond bullshit is that?
And it makes it even more compelling because of how frail and old he is now
And then
in the
the third
series,
one-
and you're like, how did he ruin his body?
But he's telling Bruce Wayne about this prison that's a big ass hole in the ground, and it's like, why do you know that exists, motherfucker? Did you throw some people down there? Like that's he tells him about this terrible pit of despair where men become monsters and have to climb out to escape, only to get shot down. And he talks about, one got out. One guy got out. The worst fucking one got out, and he's gonna break your fucking shit, dude. And I would have been like, word, Alfred, I believe you. Tell me what you did during Vietnam. I'm kind of curious. Did you burn a whole village to the ground just for the shits and giggles? You goddamn psychopath. Because that's how that conversation really would have went. I was just hunting jewel thieves in Burma. Just Bruce Wayne turned around. What? I've been crime fighting for 10 goddamn years, and you're just now telling me you were hunting people for sport?
Tell me more, Alfred.
Oh, yeah. I was there when Princess Diana got killed, and I shot JFK.
So yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm
glad they're on an uptick.
But
Good for
yeah,
them.
but that's what I was saying. Like during all those movies, I was excited, and then shortly after that, that's when Marvel started hitting it out of the fucking park. I quit paying attention to the DC movies. Now Marvel's kind of flapping in the fucking wind, and I'm looking.
Well, actually, if you think about it, the ebb and flow is also to the shows.
Yeah.
The Marvel shows are doing well. Echo did well. X-Men's doing well. Those are doing well. DC shows all got canceled.
Yeah. Except for this one, and it's the one like non-canon show.
This is basically it's HBO. It's a movie.
So yeah, that's going to be a fun one. And we also got a short little trailer for the new Beetlejuice movie.
Yeah, that's
titled
fun.
Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
So based on the trailer alone, I'm just assuming the dad has died.
Yeah, for all accounts point to that.
We'll say that's probably a good option because you don't want to bring him back. For fun fact, the dad in Beetlejuice stopped acting after the movie Sleepy Hollow because of a Nickelodeon situation.
Oh,
that's why he's not in movies anymore.
Understood.
So he got caught doing some nasty shit, and that's why he's not in movies anymore. So obviously you want to kill him off in this movie.
And we kind of see that there's a funeral scene, but we get Catherine O'Hara back. We also get, her name escapes me, Stranger Things. Winona Ryder. And then we also get the addition of fucking Wednesday.
Yeah, Jenna Ortega.
Yeah. So we all see them in a funeral scene. So yeah.
In the same town, in the same house. It looks fantastic. We get Michael Keaton back in his prime.
The juice is loose.
Yeah, what a joke. That's the fucking thing about Beetlejuice. His jokes were fucking solid.
I saw one like green text, like long thing being like, okay, the implication of him saying the juice is loose. Was he aware of the OJ trial? Was he watching it?
Yeah, because he probably met Nicole Brown Simpson in the afterlife. In the waiting room.
What are you here for?
Oh, shit. Oh, really? He did it. I never would have guessed it. That would have been a funny joke.
Hell of a game player.
11,000 yards. This is fucking wild.
Really? Fuck.
Go Bills, man. But like, that would have been like a fun. I bet that's a deleted scene that did not age well. Like when they first started filming, even Michael Keaton's like, God damn, guys. But no, it looks fun. I'm kind of curious what the storyline's going to be. I think they're going to, based on the Winona Ryder's face, I think they're going to go back to the implication that she marries him in the movie, and I think that's going to be a big plot point.
That would be interesting.
Like, where did she come from? Where did Jenna Ortega come from? Did something happen just from like contact, just generally being around? Is this Beetlejuice's way of getting out of the motherfucking realm? Because that was the biggest problem, was you called on him 3 times to get him out, and you called on him 3 times to go the fuck away. That was the whole context of him. He is a temporal entity like Candyman who just shows the fuck up when you call him and goes away when you call him, but he tries to trick you into not doing it.
Yeah.
So like, I would love a cameo from like,
what if they, sorry not to cut you off, but what if they pull the whole like, okay, the Jenna Ortega character is kind of like the Force ghost child of Beetlejuice. What if they end it by the Michael Keaton Beetlejuice forming with the Jenna Ortega character and making the new female Beetlejuice.
Fuck it, why not? Because there was a whole cartoon series about this, about her and Beetlejuice like hanging out the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Which did not fit the storyline of the movie.
I remember that. That was on Cartoon Network.
Yeah, but I would love Gina Davis to come back as a guest star, Alec Baldwin to come back. I think those two would be fantastic, just a cameo in. Yeah, so like there's a lot of possibilities. I'm excited for it. I might go to the theater, but I want to see more of the trailers, see more trailers and stuff.
But Michael Keaton also looks really good back in the character suit.
Looks fantastic.
So it looks good. And in gaming news, we've got Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra.
Yeah, that looks fantastic. It's going to be the first, or not the first, but the premier Black Panther character.
Yep.
T'Challa's dad or grandfather. But we also get the guy from Winter Soldier Falcon. Hugo, the black guy who survived and was tested on. So we're getting more of that super serum, kind of testing. It's gonna be a really good filler from like Captain America: First Avengers to being Frozen. I think it's gonna be really fantastic. Just the game itself, and I will say
the graphics look really good.
And you know what sucks, man? The Avengers game had a compelling story, and people just shit on it because they didn't look like Robert Downey Jr.
Well, this certainly looks like Chris Evans.
Yeah, fucking good for them. Fucking Jesus. But those games were fun.
Yeah.
And this one, I hope, is just the same.
Yeah, we don't know that much from it aside from what you just said, but I mean, it does look really good. I probably won't be able to play it because it probably won't have a Switch port, and I don't have any other modern console.
And I will say this: if they do, it's going to look bad.
Exactly. So yes. I probably wouldn't even waste the money on it. But I'll watch some YouTubers play it. It looks really good.
They need to make another Zelda game because I'm just like, this is a great game. Let's
You're not getting another Zelda game for another 6 years, bud.
Yeah, fucking Jesus.
You know that.
Yeah, fucking
minimum.
Fantastic. They knocked it out of the park twice.
Savor look at this Zelda game like a plate of sushi. You don't eat it all at once because you're still going to be really hungry. You savor it. You eat slow. That way, by the time you get to the end of the plate, that rice has had time to expand in your stomach, and you feel like you've actually had a satisfying meal.
I will say I've never had sushi in like the proper way. Maybe we have that today. Maybe have that today.
Maybe.
It's just tuna wrapped in Fruit Loops.
Tuna loops.
Crab Rangoon cornflakes.
And one other piece of news that came across the desk today that I'm watching very closely because this is an official announcement from the company. However, they said more information will be posted on the 1st of next month. What is the 1st of next month?
April Fool's Day. My parents' anniversary.
Wow.
It's a nice joke for everybody.
But 7-Eleven has a very popular line of non-alcoholic seltzer waters, like lime and cherry and all these, like Topo Chico type style things.
I saw like 4 new flavors of Topo Chico the other day.
So, one of the flavors they've announced... Close enough. Hotdog water.
Ah, hell yeah.
Hotdog water seltzer.
Stewie.
Now, they said more information is going to be out on the 1st. I have a feeling it's going to be just an April Fool's prank. However, now that I do not have a job, I have all the time in the world. If this winds up being a quick little online promotion where like only the first 100 people that submit their information are able to get one, guess what? I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be watching that clock and I'm going to be getting this one because I am got to record a taste test of that. That is disgusting yet so interesting. I have to try that. And I have to do it because one of the other things I got recently is there is a company called Nobel that is creating like these vegan cheeses, like, no milk cheese. I don't give a shit about that. However, they had a special where the first 100 people that clicked the link and hit place order got the best 100 cheese pulls from the 80s. In which they go through all these different commercials and promotional materials, find all the best cheese pulls and put them in a compilation. So I've got that on VHS coming here soon. I can't wait for that. That's going to be fun.
So hot dog seltzer water though, Jesus Christ.
So yeah, if I'm able to get my hands on that, if it winds up being a real thing, we are definitely having a taste test on the hot dog seltzer water.
Oh, gin.
So with that devastating news ahead of us, I guess it's time for us to go ahead and move on over to our main topic.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, whatever. All right, so we're going to kind of pivot this week. We've been going pretty heavy with the movies and the TV shows, talking about the Star Wars and everything else. However, we have a couple ideas bouncing around in the head for some video game content. We
Brewing
might
like a
wanna
Mr.
do.
fucking coffee over here.
That's damn right. So, getting prepared for that, we hopped on the old trusty tiermaker.com and decided that we were going to pick one of the lists here and do a tier rundown, S all the way down to D, of this pre-selection of SNES games. But we kind of ran through the list already, and the list looks really good. So, this is one of the better ones we could have picked.
I'm excited.
No, we're kind of leaning into the SNES era, primarily because, one, that's probably Chris's favorite era, is the one you grew up with the most.
Yeah, because fun fact, guys, I did not go from the Super Nintendo to like a Sega or like to a PlayStation. I went from a Super Nintendo to nothing to a GameCube at one point. Big fucking jump on how to use a controller, from playing Super Nintendo on Super Mario and playing the Spider-Man the movie game and dying constantly with Bruce Campbell just yelling at me the whole time. Hey, dumbass, you're supposed to go this way. That was the fun part of that game, was Bruce Campbell was in it.
And so even though I had literally the polar opposite experience, literally in front of you are the very first two game consoles I ever owned. The first was a Super Nintendo, a regular NES system, sorry.
Nintendo Entertainment System.
And then right next to it is the Nintendo 64.
A weapon.
So those were my very two first consoles I ever had. The NES was my aunt's that she eventually passed on to me because she got the Super Nintendo. Yeah. So she was like, okay, I don't give a shit about this anymore. It was mainly at my grandparents' house, and she was eventually one day, she's like, yeah, that's yours now. I don't care. And I was like, yay.
Here you go, poor child.
Yeah, so I inherited that at like 3 years old. And then I got the Nintendo 64 for Christmas a few years after it came out. Same thing with the GameCube. So I actually never owned, and to this day still do not own, an original Super Nintendo. I have the HDMI Super Nintendo that Brad Smith from the Rim, he let me borrow / has not yet asked for it back. But hey, buddy, if you ever listen to these episodes, I do remember these things.
I think he has one.
Oh, he's already got another new one? Oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool. Well,
no, if you got the fucking Switch, you have all those same games. The only game you're missing is Chrono Trigger.
Yeah. However, I am still that motherfucker that it was still given to me on a borrow basis. So if at any time he messages me and says he wants it back, I do have to go ahead.
Morrison to get my shit from you.
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally cool.
I've got me banging on the door. Fee, fi, fo, fum.
I'm not that person that just has it. It's right there. It is literally right there. So it can go back. It's okay. However, even though I didn't grow up with the system, I did get to play it when I was over at my aunt's because I said she had it. And number two, a lot of these games got Game Boy Advance ports. So I did get to play a lot of these on the back end. Plus, like what you said, between the HDMI console and the Switch, I've gotten to actually play a good handful of these, if not for a couple seconds, or watch a YouTuber talk about it. So this is at least the era we can both kind of pull from. But the next one, we're going to be doing a Nintendo 64 because damn it, I want to do that. We'll do a Nintendo 64.
They're all
tier
garbage.
No, the Nintendo 64 had some amazing games on it, and I will not have you
They had Turkey Shoot by South Park.
That would not be one of the good
That's
ones
an
I would
S-tier
list.
game.
Whatever you say, crazy man.
Yep, that was one of the first games I ever played on a fucking 64. I tried to play Pokemon Snap, but that game looked dumb.
Oh, that's a fun one. I like Pokemon Snap.
Garbage.
All right, so with the lovely advent of technology, I've even able to post it up here for Chris to see. Not that it really helps much because the things on here are super duper small.
I will argue there's like 1 or 2 games I don't recognize, but other than that looks fantastic.
Yeah, there's a few on here from me as well, but we'll go ahead and start with the first that's at least on the list, Maximum Carnage, a Spider-Man game.
Solid fucking entry.
Man,
A tier.
I can't argue with that one, only because, one, I have not played it in years, so I don't remember the gameplay right off. However, Maximum Carnage has the coolest trailer. I remember it as vivid as day, mainly because it was on one of the VHS tapes I have of the Spider-Man cartoons back in the day. But the trailer was like the New York City skyline with like this weird sepia tone to it.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, everything that was kind of like sepia turns red, and like carnage is like coming over the city, and it like keeps clipping to like these old people and women like cowering on the streets, looking up, screaming, with the narrator being like, "Do you have the power to save New York City from maximum carnage, carnage, carnage?" You know, shit like that. Oh man, that had me fucking sold.
I will say this. I didn't have this game growing up. It was given to me for a temporary basis, kind of like your Nintendo. I had what I consider the best Spider-Man game of all time. It was Spider-Man and the X-Men.
Yes.
Versus Arcade.
Yes.
Arcade, one of the dumbest fucking villains in Marvel history. He was just a bow tie wearing game show guy. But goddamn, you got to play as Spider-Man, Cyclops, Wolverine, Storm. You know, these are big name characters, and Gambit. And let me tell you the functionality.
And Gambit.
But the functionality of the characters back then was top tier. Whoever designed this game was on coke, because he's like, well, let's make it to where he can retract his claws. Why? Just because. Let's make the cards look realistic at Gambit throws. And they look like damn near PlayStation quality.
Really?
If you go back and look, if you guys get a chance, look up Spider-Man and the X-Men versus Arcade.
I just don't remember the details that much.
The game cover was the shit. It's a fucking free-for-all. Dude, you know how many fucking villains are in the back of Carnage and Venom are in the cover, fighting Spider-Man and Wolverine. Cyclops is killing, I think, Gladiator. And it's just like, whoever did that, this was a comic book cover.
Yeah.
That was just over the top. But no. Maximum Carnage, A tier for me. It's a solid game. Everybody who plays this game, even not big Spider-Man fans, are like, this is the one that you wanted to rent.
Yeah, I would agree. All right, well, let's go ahead and do another little layup here and kind of do a quick little reorganization. That way we can keep some folks engaged. Obligatory Super Mario World. Where would we go with that?
Fucking S tier.
That's
Jesus
right, baby.
Christ.
If you said anything other, I would have really questioned your sanity. Would you say best platformer? Best Mario platformer?
Of its time, yeah.
Of its time.
Yeah, of its time. Because Mario just got better over the years. But over time, there are a lot of platform games that are fun. But this one overdid the original Mario Brothers game. This was, people played on the NES. People played on the Famicom. But then when this came out, this was over the top. And it was a layered story. It's Mario going against Bowser and his kids and nephews and stuff.
Well, I mean, that happened in 3.
But this one is like, it's so much more detailed on the combat. There's so much more power-ups. There's so much more strategy in the game. So like the way I play the game, I can beat the game in roughly 40 minutes flat. But if I play it a certain way. But if I play it like the traditional way people say it, maybe like an hour and a half.
Got it.
But this also was a game you could play with your buddy. Mm-hmm. I played this with Mikey, who kept dying.
Loser.
Yeah.
You lose.
But that may come back as some content later on.
We won't belabor that one too much. It's a classic.
Yeah.
The next one, Super Metroid.
This is a platformer, technically.
Mm-hmm.
I had this game. This game was fantastic. Graphics, perfect. I'd put it as A tier, just because it's not for everyone. It's a hard game to play.
I would agree. I'm struggling between an A tier and a B tier, mainly because of what you said. I could never fully enjoy the game, even the original NES one, because it was so difficult.
It's a side-to-side shooter and platformer. Mm-hmm. But it's one of those games that's like,
it's not for children. It's for kids who are trying to go next step into gaming. But no, it was A tier for me just because the graphics were just the best that Nintendo could do at the time until the Sega came out and they really started pushing the cartridge power. So like for me, it's an A tier.
Okay, I'd concede with that.
And it's fun fact: if you had the Metroid game for the GameCube and you beat it once, you unlocked the NES Metroid game.
Yes,
in the game, and if you beat it on hard, you unlocked Super Metroid. So back when game companies knew what the fuck they were doing
and
that
actually
shit.
Gave a shit. All right, speaking of giving a shit, Star Fox.
I'm going to piss a lot of people off on this one. This is a B.
I was gonna actually say the same thing.
I love Star Fox.
Overrated.
And I'm going to say something that's going to piss a lot of goddamn fans off of Star Fox. I like Star Fox Adventures for the GameCube. Get fucked, everybody. I know this game wasn't supposed to be a Star Fox game, but guess what? It's fucking fun. And all you furries out there, I know you love it. I know you fucking love it, you weird motherfuckers. But no, the Star Fox for the Super Nintendo was not for me. I never could get into it.
No, I think a lot of people really lean on that one because it uses the Super FX chip. Mm. It was really pushing the boundaries of what the Super Nintendo could do with making kind of rudimentary 3D effects.
You're pushing it to where it has to be like an arcade cabinet, like
100%. So like I understand the reasoning people rank it so high. I don't know, maybe because it was literally like a couple years before my generation of really playing those type of games. Maybe it just doesn't resonate with me. But however, Super Metroid, Super Mario World, those resonate with me. And that still was a couple years right before my era. So I don't know. Star Fox just didn't do it for me.
It's one of the ones I didn't play a lot.
No. All right, well, moving on to the next one, we got Kirby's Dream Land 3.
For Kirby fans, this is probably the best one. I'm not a Kirby fan. I'd put it at B. It's a good game to play. It's a fluff game for me. It's a game where I've got tired of playing the other ones, and I want to see how hard I could play this game.
Yeah.
Like, I've said this before a couple times, Kirby games are okay. It's just not for me. But hey, if you are a big fan, I do acknowledge this is probably a fucking S tier for you.
You've just got PTSD talking about Kirby now. Yeah, is what it is.
Fuck them. That bubblegum pop motherfucker.
No, I have to again co-sign everything you said. There's no arguments really so far on this.
I will say four of the 5 characters we talked about are all in Super Smash Brothers.
Yep. But it's like, for me, man, I did the exact same thing. I've never owned any Kirby games. I rented Kirby games. That's about where my enjoyment of Kirby lay.
I played. My buddy would have them, and we would play them sometimes. Mm-hmm. But like, it is a fluff game for a guy.
Yeah, I would definitely say that, mainly because it just, I don't know, it never really hit me that well. So yeah, I would agree with B tier. It's not bad, but simply for that. Yeah. All right, now it looks like we've got the Goof Troop movie game, or the Goof movie. It's hard to tell on the screenshot.
The Disney games are fantastic. Every Disney game that ever came out.
Yeah, that's Goof Troop.
Yeah, those games are fantastic. They're always fun, but they're harder than shit.
Yeah, I never played this one.
I'd put it as a C just because it doesn't have a lot of name recognition unless you were big.
Goofy?
Unless you were big into the Disney thing. And if you grew up on Nickelodeon Toonami or Cartoon Network or even Saturday morning cartoons, you don't really fuck with that. Like, it's not your bag.
Yeah.
But I will say it is a quality game. I'm just like, to me, it's a C tier game, though.
I would agree. Mainly because I don't know it all about it. All right, now here's one I feel like you've got a good bit to say about. Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
D trash. No, I'm kidding. But like, this is an S tier. Get fucked, all of you. This is a game you should have. Period. Every person should have this game for the Super Nintendo.
And what do you like about it so much?
It's perfect.
Chris, be descriptive with your words.
It's perfect. I love it.
Okay, Dante, be descriptive with your words.
I didn't sound gay saying it, but no, like this game. You come off the NES with the original Zelda. You come off with their trash game, Link's Awakening. It's a trash game. First of all, everybody knows that the NES second Zelda game is trash. Then this comes out. The graphics are refined. The map is perfect. The attention to detail for just interacting with NPCs in the game. This is your first step into an RPG as a child. An 8-year-old could play this game. Will they succeed? Maybe not, but who gives a shit? Because they're learning the game. And I got a great memory of this. This happened recently. Me and Mikey, again, in West Virginia. He happens to ask, how long do you think you could beat the game? I'm like, I don't know. I've never timed myself. And all of a sudden, it's an hour later, and I got all the fucking pendants, the Master Sword, and I got 3 of the Maidens, which is 3 out of 7. And he asked, like, how far did you get? I'm just like, I got pretty fucking far. Like, I'm about done. I'm cleaning up, motherfucker. I had half the weapons I needed. You don't need most of them, but you can beat the game with just a net.
And see, and that's what I still can't wait to see. Is I've got to see that in action. We got to film it. I got to see you go fucking nutty with that.
Oh yeah, but no, this was my number 1 game growing up. That and Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that's another one I'm just gonna have to really take your word on, because Zelda just for some reason was not one I could really get into at all. And I have never played this one, but I'm curious if you have. Congo's Caper?
Yeah, it's just a platformer. It's a C tier game, maybe even a D tier. This kind of game was really big in Japan.
Got it.
So like I think the Switch on their Super Nintendo paid service has like a Japanese version of this, and then like a greatest hits version of this.
Okay.
No, it's just a good old platformer, man. It was one of those games like maybe your aunt would buy that had like Nintendo special, number 1 games, top selling.
Nintendo special, number 1 game.
Yeah, and so like that's all for you.
Got it.
It's a neat platform, but C tier is respectful. It's good.
And next up, we've got the Toy Story game. I've seen some playthrough of this one.
For the Nintendo, it's garbage. For the Sega, it's perfect. All right, that's a goddamn fact. The graphics on the Toy Story game in a Sega are fucking off the goddamn wall. It's like you're stepping into the future. Meanwhile, we're back over here in 1985, fucking with the VCR. It's a D tier, but if we were doing Sega, it'd be an A.
Yeah, I automatically put it at D because I've seen many a gameplay of this, and holy shit.
And it is tough as fuck.
Yes.
Like I'm not joking when it comes to Disney and Pixar games. Those fucking games are tougher than shit.
Well, let's have a little race here now, because we've got what looks like. If I can read. We got Mega Man X2.
Yeah, Mega Man X2. I didn't really play a lot of. I'll tell you this. Anybody who's listening to this who's a Mega Man fan, good on you. You got my respect, because those games are tough as shit.
Very hard.
I'd give probably all of them a B, just because of how intricate they are, and there's a strategy involved. The Mega Man X, the first Mega Man X, is a A tier game.
Right. I don't think we've got that one on the list here.
It's second from the left. Or second from the right.
This?
Right.
There it is. Yeah,
Mega Man X. That is a A tier game. For me, that is a fantastic game. But all the other ones, God help you.
Yeah, because we've got X2, X3, and Z.
Yeah, I didn't really play X3 and Z, but out of respect, I'd put them in B.
Because again, I played mainly the Mega Man. Wasn't there Mega Man games on just the original NES?
Yeah, just the original Mega Man.
Yeah. I played that one a good bit. And that was fun. Hard, but fun.
Yeah. I saw a video of a guy playing all 4 of them with one controller. It was fucking fascinating.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That's why they hold my respect. Because people that like that, they do that.
Well, let's go ahead and move on over to some racing games. How about Kirby's Dream Course?
Never played it.
Really?
This is one of the games I never played. I don't think it's ported over yet to the Switch. Not yet.
No, I don't. Maybe it is. I don't know. I feel like I may have seen it recently. But I actually got to play this one a couple times, and it is a lot of fun. It controls a lot better than you'd expect. It kind of controls like F-Zero.
Oh, that was fun.
Mm-hmm. So it's similar thing, but I mean, just a Kirby's racing game. For what it is, honestly, I kind of have to put it in A. Because in comparison to a couple of the other racing games we may run across, this actually performs a lot better than the others. And back to the fucking another Mickey Mouse game. Looks like The Magical Quest.
I actually had the book to this, the kids' book to this.
Really?
Yeah, it was a big, one of the big children's books. It's pretty thin, but it was like a hardback cover back when they still made them hardbacks. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I had the book to this. I never really played the game. I
didn't either. I didn't even see any gameplay on this one.
I put it as a C tier just because Disney does make very good games for the Super Nintendo.
Except of this Toy Story.
That's Pixar.
It's still Disney, though.
It's mainly Pixar.
All right, another fun one, Mario Paint.
Is this the one where you had to have the extension printer?
No, this one was the one where you could have a mouse attachment.
Yeah, so I didn't have the peripherals for this one. But, from what I've heard from some of the reviews I've seen, it is neat. It is a concept piece, kind of like the weird peripherals for a fucking Game Boy.
Yeah.
All those weird motherfucking things. So
I still have my Game Boy camera.
Yeah. So yeah, for introducing peripheral, I'll give it a B.
Okay. Honestly, this might be the first time I kind of rebel and kind of want to put it up a little higher.
Okay.
So even though you had to have a peripheral for it, you could technically use your regular game controller, but with the mouse, you're able to get a lot more smoother curvatures and everything else. I actually rate this an A, not because of how much it could do, not for, how even intuitive it was, but for the fact that I have heard multiple different people of the era say this is what got them interested in some sort of graphic design. Because for the first time, they're able to put their hands on something and create a digital image. Much how with me messing around with Paint Shop on the computer back in the day was like, oh, I know how to do certain, drawings and paints, and I can do this, that, and the other. I wonder what I could do with professional gear.
I remember, man, that's what I loved about the old Microsoft fucking Windows 95, because I grew up with Windows 95.
Yeah, same.
But like Windows 95, 98, up to like XP before it all went to garbage with Vista. God damn it, there was so much cool shit just built into the fucking
Solitaire,
system.
Pinball.
Pinball was XP. Spider Solitaire was XP.
Oh, there's still 95 versions and 98 versions.
Yeah, but like
Space Pinball.
Space Pinball, because you could pop the machine.
Yeah.
But no, man, some of that stuff.
Minesweeper.
Yeah, Minesweeper was tough. But like Free Cell was a game I was fantastic at, because I found out every game is winnable. Mm-hmm. But no, man, there's back in the day, Paint. That was just your chance to try drugs without doing drugs.
And I would say the same thing with Mario Paint. It was that generation's version of it. You booted it up and wow, now I've got, stickers and coloring things and then freeform draw. I honestly I would maybe put it an A-, but to me it's still an A.
Yeah, I could see it an A.
We'll slap that up there. All right, now we've got another threefer, and I've only played one of these.
I've played all three of these with Cap.
So we've got Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3.
I'm gonna piss a lot of people off on this one. Donkey Kong Country, A. Period.
Okay.
Period.
I would agree.
It's a fantastic game. It's a platformer, really fun. The other two could be B tier, just because.
Why would that piss people off?
Because they are really beloved games. People love Donkey Kong Country 2. Cap really loves Country 2. But
what makes it so better in their eyes?
There's a lot more different platforming abilities in that game. Mm-hmm. So, like, you have the platforming in one, which is fantastic, and the graphics are cool. It's a more, like, 3D look.
Okay.
They kept that in the same next two games, but the platforming is harder and more compelling to do.
Got it.
And, like, it's very detailed. But, like, for me, Donkey Kong Country is always going to be better than the other two.
And that's really the only one I've played at all is the original Donkey Kong Country. And I would agree, it's an A tier. It's really fun. It is hard.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard.
Well, this is at the tail end of the age where games had to be fucking hard, to get your money value out of it.
And that's kind of the reason why I do like it, is because it is hard. It's not like a mindless, brain drain.
But there is no. A lot of these games don't have levels. Easy mode, hard mode.
Right. So I thought at first you meant like level 1, level 2, and I'm like, they all have levels, Chris. What? Yeah. All right, the next one on the list that we've got here, another Disney game, Aladdin.
S tier, motherfucker.
S tier?
This game was so much fucking fun.
I thought this was like the fuck you hard game.
It is hard, but it's fun. Fuck, it's fun.
Or am I thinking Lion King?
Lion King, you die. They murder you. They actually have a weird little fucking like cut screen where you get killed. But nah, Aladdin for the Super Nintendo is a fucking S tier game. One of the best things Disney's ever made when it comes to video games. Right up there like Kingdom fucking Hearts. Like,
I might have to try it then because I thought that was
Please
always
do.
the fuck you game.
Please do. It's harder than shit, but goddamn, it's fun.
Harder than shit. Goddamn.
I'll get country about it. Hell yeah. Goddamn, Aladdin and his friend Monkey.
I'll have to take your word on that one. All right, and then we've also got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time.
This is kind of hard to say because this is Konami's like flagship best game. And if you weren't born before 1990, you're not going to appreciate this fucking game because this game is one of the hardest fucking games of all time. It deserves an S, but because, like, for a lot of people, I want to put it as an A.
I was right with you, man.
It's a great game. You deserve to play it, but Jesus Christ, it's hard.
Dude.
And it's what's fucked up is, as well as the graphics are on the Super Nintendo, this was the laundromat game you played with your buddies.
Yeah.
On the arcade machine.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, like, it's a great port, but it deserves an A.
Back when I was working at the old defunct smoke shop, My Freedom Smokes, there was a coworker that had a jailbroken Wii that had like all the fucking games on it.
I have one.
And I do too. And he showed me the website to go to, and I jailbroke mine. But he had like every single game, and there were so many times we'd go over to his place, smoke up, and play this game, trying to fucking beat it. There was another like top-down shoot 'em up game, kind of like Contra almost, that we were played a lot too. But Turtles in Time, we were destined to beat that one, but we just fucking couldn't. So I would agree, a lot of fun, but that was a hard motherfucking game, especially when you're high.
Like most things, it's tough when you're high.
And the very first of a long line of games, Super Mario Kart.
I know you're not a big fan of this game, right? For the SNES.
The SNES Super Mario Kart game, I would honestly have to put between a C and a D.
Really?
That low, man.
I'll give it to you. I didn't play it that much. I'm not a big racing guy, except if it was F-Zero.
The controls on this one are just horrible. It's really bad. I mean, I kind of almost want to put it in the D tier, mainly because I think I've played this game a total of 3 times. And each time I'm just like, I remember why I don't play this fucking game.
Well, I think another thing is, like, for me, I don't play a lot of the Mario racing games. I don't play the Mario Party games. But I understand why it would be high up on a lot of lists, just because it's the first fucking one that introduced everybody to it. And a lot of people that are my age that still play Mario Kart on the 64, which probably the 64 is probably the streamlined one, just because we watch people at the Skylark play it and put money on it. Or I put money on the motherfuckers.
Well, see, and that's going to be my point, is just because it's the first doesn't mean it's the best.
Yeah, not all the time, no.
I mean, look at the iPhone. The very first iPhone came out, and it was hot, stinky garbage. But literally by the next one, it was leagues ahead, and it was even at a price cut.
Yeah.
So I kind of equate that to the Mario Kart franchise. Super Mario Kart may have been the first. However, the next one up on the list is Mario Kart 64, and I look at that as the Mario Kart game. I still love that one. So when we're looking at the Super Nintendo games and Super Mario Kart, hell, even with on the NES, Racing Pro-Am, that had better controls than Super Mario Kart. So a generation before it, F-Zero had a better control. Kirby's Dream Course had better controls than fucking Super Mario Kart. So as much as I love the series and have put hours into it, I can't abide this one.
I'll have to concede to you because I didn't play a lot of it.
Well, this is one I'll have to lean on you on, because next up we've got Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars.
A. Perfect A.
Perfect A.
If you're an RPG fan, it's a fucking S tier, but like, this is Mario going out of their element. This is Square before they became Square Enix. This is a tough game. This is the RPG. It gives you your standard Mario characters with a moveset. You have to play it like it's fucking Final Fantasy, which I will say Final Fantasy 3 is not on here.
No, it is
but
not.
That is a proper RPG for the Super Nintendo. But Square going out of their way to work with them to make one of the most Easter egg fucking games of all time in the Mario franchise, and they're finally bringing it back. Good on them.
Hell yeah.
This is it'll probably be one of the games I do buy.
Oh shit, you're gonna crack open that wallet.
I guess. God damn it. I hate doing it.
Well, this is one I've also got a question on, because next up we've got two that have similar titles, but I'm not sure the difference.
So the one on the left is Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo is all the characters unlocked.
Got it. So it's essentially the same game.
Somehow, yeah. So
somehow.
I had the first one where you had to unlock them the hard way. This game's a fucking A. Super Street Fighter or Street Fighter 2 Turbo is an A game because you had to work to unlock Vega, Bison, Balrog, Sagat. You had to work to get those characters. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, the super part, is all the characters unlocked automatically. And that's the truth of all Street Fighter games. If you buy Street Fighter 5, you have to work to unlock everybody. If you get Super Street Fighter 5, they're already unlocked in exhibition mode. So that doesn't really take away from the game. It was just a thing like they threw out like, hey guys, this is for y'all.
Here you go.
And Street Fighter has been doing this for years, and it's fantastic. I'd put Super Street Fighter on the same tier just because it's technically the same game.
Yeah.
Now, if it was Super Street Fighter, the new challengers, it'd be a little bit higher up because it's more characters. You got Cammy, you got T-Hawk, you got Feelong, you got a lot of cool characters added to the roster that were fantastic. DJ, I think, was added. Yeah, so yeah, those two games, same tier.
Gotcha. All right. Well, next on that, we've got Kirby Superstar, which is 8 games in 1.
This is a party game. I didn't really play.
So this one isn't necessarily a party game. So what this is, the Kirby Superstar 8 games in 1, that is like the Mario collection that came out on Super Nintendo, where it was the original 3 games remastered and all that all on one cartridge.
I didn't, like I said, I don't play Kirby games. I'd put it as a B just because I know it's high up there for a lot of Kirby fans.
I was gonna say not even for that. I would put it as a B only because you have 8 full games on one cartridge. Like for the amount of content alone.
All right, so back in the day, and they still do it to this day, you could get collection games, Sega collection for the Xbox, stuff like that. Did you ever get the collection games for the Nintendo or Super Nintendo or 64? There was one called the MAME, M-A-M-E, and it was Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Pole Position, Dig Dug, and Galaxian, not Galaga, Galaxian, all on one. And then they made another one, and it was Joust, which you're on top of ostriches, Defender 1 and 2, and I forget the another one, but it was fucking annoying as shit. It was like Asteroid, but worse. But yeah, those were those filler games that people would just buy, like, oh, here's a birthday, or here's like a Christmas stocking stuffer, or like here's a Christmas gift that we think you might like.
Well, one of my favorite collection games was actually that, and it was the Namco Museum.
Yeah, Namco.
Which I got that on the Nintendo 64 that had Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Galaxian, Pole Position, Dig Dug.
Centipede?
No.
It was Namco. It was Namco, so no.
Yeah. One or two others that I don't remember.
Pac-Man 2?
No, that was it on the Pac-Mans. It was Pac-Man, Mrs. Pac-Man. I've still got it down there.
Do you know the difference between Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man?
Faster movements, different. Well, all of this is correct, but I mean, she moves slightly faster.
The main difference is the different maps.
Yeah.
Pac-Man stays the same. Miss Pac-Man changes the map constantly. Yeah. I found this out because my dad apparently is a guru at fucking Pac-Man. I came home one day, a buddy of ours put all those Namco games on a disc for our computer, and my dad was home before I was, and my dad had all the keys, all the fucking cherries, all the fucking, and he's just beasting this fucking game because he played it when he was younger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn, that fucking game's hard as shit. But no, he's got it. He's fucking just beating it, because I've seen a couple of people beat it where it just crashes and keeps playing.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
It is. They got too much time on their hands.
Yep.
All right, then we also got Super Mario Land 2, Yoshi's Island.
Cap loves this game a lot.
I know. That was surprising.
I played it with him one night, and I'm like, this is actually a really fun platformer game. I'd give it an A.
I would too.
It's it's cutesy, but it is fun, and it's it's challenging a little bit. It changes the dynamic of the game a little bit. You really you have to learn very quickly on how to move. You have to rely on Yoshi a lot, and it kind of just
saved the baby.
Yeah, it expands it a lot too.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then we also got Super Punch Out.
Yeah, this game is fantastic.
S tier.
I'd put it as an A.
A?
Because of how fucking hard it is. Super Punch Out is fun. Mike Tyson's Punch Out for the NES is super fun because it kicks the dog shit out of you. But no, Punch Out was really fun. The details in this one are a lot better. And they've kind of stuck with that. They kind of fell off the radar though. Like Punch Out games kind of just, I believe 64 had one. Had a game, but after that, GameCube, I think they took their time and just didn't release it till the tail end of the life of span. But by that time, the Wii U came out, and you had a built-in boxing game with Wii Sports. So yeah, this is fun.
Well, and also by the time you got 64 going around, you had like WWF making games, so you had like legit wrestling games. So the Punch Out series really wasn't needed anymore.
Yeah, because the WWF and WCW games for SNES weren't that great.
No. So by the time 64 and PlayStation rolled around,
like King of the Ring and shit like that.
So, but the reason I would even kind of vote that it would go S tier is what other first-person beat-em-up games can you think of for the Super Nintendo that are good?
First person, not many. A lot of beat-em-up games though.
Like the side scrollers. Like there's tons of side scrollers, but when it's just like basically a rock'em sock'em robots, you versus someone else in a ring, beat them up.
For me, it's an A. For you, it's probably an S. But if there was a little space in between, we put it there.
Yeah, I'll concede at the A. All right, now we've got one that you specifically asked if they had on the list. We got Chrono Trigger.
The guy that did Dragon Ball Z did the artwork for this. This is an S tier for me, just because it is probably the perfect RPG for that whole system. No RPG was better than this for the Super Nintendo. The game is fantastic. It teaches you trial and error how to play the game. It's not super fucking hard. All you got to do is pay attention. Like other games, they make it hard for a reason. This one had a magnificent story. They really took their time. Like I said, the guy from Dragon Ball Z did the artwork and did a lot of the storyboard and stuff. It is fantastic. I was pissed off when I found out it wasn't on the Switch. This is a game that's missing on the Switch, but it is on the HD Super Nintendo. So if you have that, you can play it, or if you emulate it. But it is not available on Switch, which is fucking bullshit.
Probably copyright shit.
Yeah. But they made Chrono Cross, which they decided not to go with Nintendo anymore. They decided to go with the PlayStation after this. So those games really continued on, and it was those 2-disc sets that where the game was very long and very detail oriented. But yeah, fantastic game.
After that, we got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
I'm going to put this as a C, but if you watch me play it, it's a goddamn S because I'm that fucking good at this game.
Then why do you rate it so poor then?
Because it's not fun. It's super easy to play. It is just like you could beat the whole game with one hand. Like it's fucking ridiculously easy. But damn it, I love the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That was my bread and butter growing up.
I wonder if Mikey ever played that one because he loved Power Rangers.
I don't think this one's not ported over. This is one of the ones that's not ported over either.
Now, I've not heard of this one. Super Ghouls and Ghosts?
This is technically the top 10 hardest games of the 90s.
Oh, really?
I think it's like a 5. I'm going to put it as a B because I fucking suck at it.
Well, if it's that hard, it sounds like it needs to be a D.
Nah, that doesn't drag it all the way down, but it is one of the most popular games of the Super Nintendo series. If you watch a list, it's on the top 10 of every list, whether it's an 8, 4, 8, 9, or whatever. It's going to be on that list, so it deserves to be. For those who want to play it, it is on the Switch package.
Okay.
It is super goddamn tough.
Well, here's one for you. Castlevania 3.
Fucking A tier.
What do you like about the Castlevania series?
The Castlevania games are horror-driven games. The first one for the NES is super goddamn hard. And they didn't give a shit when they made 3.
I was going to say, wasn't there a missing number?
Yeah, 2. 2's missing, and no one really knows. Like, some people have it, some people don't. It's like a Japanese, I think, in NES.
Got it.
But it's also Japanese for the Super Nintendo. So, like, not a lot of people talk about it. But Castlevania 3, when that game came out, people. It's part of the collection. Period. Much like Super Ghouls and Goblins and stuff like that. It made its name on the map, and it's Konami. Mm-hmm. And Konami's just, hey, you want another fucking fantastic game? Here it is.
And after that, we've got Contra 3.
Most metal game ever made. A tier. God damn it. And it wasn't until I got this the special Super Nintendo that I beat it.
Oh,
because
shit.
You know why?
The reverse.
I reversed and paused that motherfucker constantly.
No shame.
No shame. I don't give a fuck. I cheated like a son of a bitch, but goddamn, Contra Wars looks cool as fuck.
And probably one of the last ones I'm fully aware of because we're running low on the list. The original F-Zero.
F-Zero is a S tier.
Yes.
That's the racing game for every kid.
At 100%.
S tier every time.
That was the Sonic game for Nintendo.
That's the game where your epileptic cousin had to leave the room.
Yes, because Sega was always boasting, it's like, oh, look at the speed of Super Mario World versus look at the speed of Sega and Sonic. Okay, fine. Pair that next to F-Zero.
Yeah.
It's like, we can go fast too.
F-Zero is faster than fuck, boy.
I like that one a whole lot.
I will say the second to the left, Clay Fighter.
Uh-huh.
That is a top tier fighting game.
Really?
God damn, that's a fun game. That's a B for me. I had that game. No one I knew had it.
Now that you've said that, I feel like I've seen playthrough.
Yeah, Super Clay Fighter is fucking fantastic. I will say, it is very hard to learn the moves because they look so fucking wacky.
Yeah.
But it's a fantastic fighting game.
Okay.
It's a shame it hasn't been ported over to a lot of other consoles.
I'll have to look and see if there's a port or at least an emulation for it. Bubsby.
Never played Bubsby.
Me neither.
Couldn't give you left or right on that one. Final Fight is the side-scrolling beat 'em up. That's a C. That is the arcade port. Period. I did not play that game either.
I was gonna say I can't even tell what it says, even zoomed in.
Yeah, it's like a
Lemmings?
Yeah, Lemmings. It's the Lemmings game. Pikmin.
Oh, okay.
But no, I didn't play that game at all.
What about Knights of the Round?
Nope, never played it.
Same here. Killer Instinct.
Banned black cartridge, metal as fuck, A tier.
I didn't even realize that's what it was when
that's the black
suck it off to the
cartridge.
side. Yes.
Super Nintendo game.
Yes.
If I had Glacier, I'm stomping your fucking ass.
And the last one on the list,
Aero Acrobat.
Aero the Acrobat.
This one didn't get ported over for licensing reasons. It's very hard to find.
See, I'd never even heard of it.
I didn't know anybody that had it. I've only seen it in like gaming magazines here and there. Probably like a few YouTube videos of just like, hey, top 20 Nintendo games. But other than that, no. We are missing some special honorable mentions I'll throw out.
Yes.
Super Star Wars. Fantastic fucking game. Super Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. Fantastic goddamn game. Even the one with the Ewoks.
Those were hard as fuck, though.
But guess what? When you got past it, what happened? They gave you a password. Pick them sticks up.
I never got to the point I could even get a password.
Goddamn. You were just like playing the New Hope one, and just like you were on the speeder and just crashing all the time because you had to make jumps and shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
You say it jokingly, but I mean that is genuinely what was happening.
Yeah, but another game that was fantastic is the Beavis and Butthead game. It's a C tier. But
what was it though?
It's a C tier because it's stupid. But damn it, that was fun.
Because
that's an honorable mention for me.
Because I sought that one out being a fan, and
that's an honorable mention to me.
It is an honorable mention. I'll
but like because it's not ranked. But there are a handful of other ones that are probably like Final Fantasy 3. If it was on the list, probably would have been an A because it is Final Fantasy.
Right.
And 3 is like really pushing it for the Super Nintendo. And there's a handful of other games. There is one game I played religiously. 1992 NCAA Championship Basketball. Because my dad played it. And 2 people can play it. But the POV isn't side to side. It's front to back court.
Oh, okay.
There's no stadium. It's all just blue screen. But you hear people cheering in the background. The music was cool. It is really upbeat. But it was all the original conferences at the time. So the game still didn't have to deal with NCAA regulation bullshit, but it was the only one they made. And to me, that was the best basketball game. Better than NBA Jam, better than, all the other basketball games that came out at the time. I will say we had Madden 95, growing up without the Panthers or the Jaguars because they didn't exist. But my cousin had 96, and they had the Panthers and the Jaguars, and that was cool as fuck.
Hell yeah.
But the Madden games were fantastic for the Super Nintendo. But those are sports games that are never going to be on the tier list ever.
Yeah.
But, you know, those were some of the games we grew up with. I learned how to gamble from the Super Nintendo with Caesar's Palace, the game. Where you get to play, where you get to gamble.
Damn.
In the game. It's fantastic. It's fun as shit. It's addicting as fuck. But like you walk around a casino and it's just like music's playing in the background. You know how to play Keno, roulette, blackjack, fucking slots. It's fucking as fun. It's fantastic. I had a lot of weird games too for the Super Nintendo. I'll say that.
Sorry, something actually caught my attention. Looking at this site because there seems to be a new website called Episode Ratings. Oh, so yeah, we could actually go through season by season on different shows and actually do ranking lists.
Oh, I could do that all day.
That could also be some more video or episode content. So, yes, we found a website to help us here. I like this.
Quick, off topic. What's the best Kitchen Nightmares episode? It's the twins fighting
yes,
each other because they're retarded.
Yes, it's the crying twins.
I'm so fucking sad. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm just gonna put my hand in the goddamn oven and fucking murder myself. I'm gonna turn myself into a shitty pizza like all the other shitty pizza I fucking make.
Well, this has been a fantastic episode of the Couch Potatoes. We've got some other cool stuff coming up down the pipeline between movie reviews because there is a specific Glenn Danzig movie that I'm about to buy and have in the mail, so we could do a watch along with that. We've got some Chris is super excited to watch another bad movie. I'm
only crazy because Julian is the guy that's in it from Wishmaster mysteriously disappeared and died. And that movie's probably his last goddamn movie.
Yes. And and now seeing this episode ratings and rankings, all these shows we keep doing episodes on, well, now we might do some ranking episodes.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
But if you've got any other ideas for us for future episodes of the Couch Potatoes or other taste tests and pre-show pre-games, definitely let us know in the Discord. We're always loving having new members joining up with the conversation. We've got our merch store, of course, where you can pick yourself up a nice t-shirt or pint glass or sticker pack. I got plenty of stickers left for everyone.
Get it while you can.
Get them while you can, baby. And yeah, make sure and also check out the other great shows here on the network. History We Forgot, The Cryptic Conspiracy Cult, This Fucking Guy, and at some point I'll do another episode of Something Good For You. Yeah. And if you're a Kiss fan, of course, you can check out the back catalog episodes of No Time to Turn. That's really all I've got for us here for this episode. Chris, do you have any sort of final thoughts for us?
I don't want to play the Super Nintendo right now.
You've been listening to the Something Good Network. If you liked what you heard, you can follow us on Instagram, and check out the other great shows on the network. Link is in the episode description.